I knew from an early age that I wanted to be involved in law enforcement. I grew up watching cops on TV, as did a lot of people. I felt that I needed to get out there and protect the community that I live in. I've had going on 24 years of experience at the sheriff's office, and I like reaching people on a personal level as opposed to sitting behind a desk or something like that. I like being on the front lines, and I think that's what I bring to my campaign. For the sheriff's office, we need to be fully staffed with a great diversity within the department. I think we're lacking diversity at this current time, and I believe that that's one thing that we really need to focus on, is bringing in diversity and having a cross-section of the community at the sheriff's office. As far as change in the sheriff's office, I think transparency is the biggest thing. That's one of my campaign priorities. I believe that the public needs to know more than what they're getting told as far as how the sheriff's office operates. The second thing I would change is body cameras. I was one of the test subjects several years ago at the sheriff's office that tested body cameras, and I really didn't think that I wanted to be a part of that when they asked me to do that, and I found out that it's an invaluable tool, and that goes along the lines of transparency with the department, and I plan to implement that if elected sheriff. Two things I would fight to keep in place is the funding for the sheriff's office. I believe that the call now is for defunding the police, and I don't think that's what we want, and I don't think that's what the citizens want in Lawrence and Douglas County, because if that were to occur, where funds are taken from the sheriff's office, I'm afraid of the outcome. There would be lots of chaos, and people would just run around rampant, and crime would skyrocket. It's a bad situation. I am for possibly reallocating funds to different social services and things like that. Another thing I would like to do is keep our current staff in place. As sheriff, if you're elected sheriff, you work at the discretion of the sheriff. And I think we have an outstanding staff that is currently at the sheriff's office. They're dedicated employees, and I can guarantee that if elected sheriff, nobody would lose their job. And I don't know if anybody else can say that, but that's the way I feel. I think the sheriff's office has a pretty significant role. When I started my campaign, I started speaking to Lieutenant Clark Riles. He's been my supervisor in the past, and he's a person of color. He's a black man. I spoke to him roughly 2 years ago and got the conversation started because I wanted to learn as far as racism and inequalities and stuff like that from him, his perspective and his thoughts. And that was, at that point, I knew that after speaking to him, and I got educated myself, that this is something that I need to pursue. Social justice and criminal reform as far as the justice system goes. After speaking with him, I asked him if he would be undersheriff if I were to be elected, and he wholeheartedly agreed and said absolutely. So that's a big area. First off, I would challenge my team and staff members to ask the question, why did you get in law enforcement to begin with? I think that's important, and we kind of lose sight of that. I believe that the vast majority of them would say to protect the public and help people, and that's what we're here to do. I would also tell them to get out there, do business as usual. I mean, they've been trained, they know their jobs, they know how to act, and don't let the quote-unquote bad apples that have plagued law enforcement recently affect how they do their jobs. I would say they have my full support, and as long as we act within our guidelines and state statutes, federal statutes, that the public couldn't expect any more than that.